Good morning, viewers. Welcome to ST Money's Morning News, your weekday business news channel. It is Monday morning, November 11, 2024, and I'm your host, Sunil Thakker, our Sunny Talks Money. Let's roll. US stocks rose on Friday as investors digested the post election surge in major US indexes. In addition to the swift outcome of the presidential election on Tuesday, with President elect Donald Trump securing a second term in the White House, investors were met with another interest rate cut from the Federal Reserve. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell slashed the bench rate mark by 25 basis points on Thursday and signaled that there are likely more rate cuts ahead as long as inflation does not rebound. A blockbuster week for US stocks ended in more records. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose to top 44,000 points for the first time, while the S&P 500 crossed 6,000. Both indexes retreated to close the day slightly below their milestones, but delivered their best weekly performances since last November. The S&P 500 climbed 0.4% to 5,995. The Dow Jones Industrial Average added nearly 260 points, or 0.6%, to 43,988, while the Nasdaq edged 0.1% higher. All three closed at new highs. The S&P 500 and Nasdaq secured the fourth straight session of gains. The S&P 500 and the Dow Jones Industrial Average registered their best weekly percentage jump since early November 2023, while the Nasdaq notched its best week in 2 months and second best week of 2024. Expectations for lower corporate taxes and deregulation lifted the Nasdaq to record closing highs for the fourth straight session. The S&P 500 secured its 50th record close of the year. For the week, the S&P 500 gained 4.66%, the Nasdaq rose 5.74%, and the Dow climbed 4.61%. Smaller stocks have done even better in the aftermath of Donald Trump's election. The Russell 2000 index rose over 8%, its best week since April 2020. Investors hope Trump will deliver tax cuts and lighter regulation when he returns to the White House. Thursday's interest rate cut from the Federal Reserve gave investors another reason for optimism. US consumer sentiment rose to a 7-month high in early November, with a measure of the household's expectations for the future climbing to the highest in more than 3 years, led by brightening outlooks from Republicans, the University of Michigan's Consumer Sentiment Index showed. Rate sensitive sectors such as real estate and utilities were the best performing of the 11 S&P 500 groups as treasury yields fell for a second straight session after a sharp jump following the elections. As of late Friday, Nvidia and Sherwin-Williams joined the Dow, replacing Intel and Dow Incorporated. The Dow rose above 44,000 for the first time, in part due to a late boost from Salesforce, which climbed 3.59% after Bloomberg reported the software company will hire 1,000 employees to promote its artificial intelligence Agent Force tool. Tesla extended its post election climb. The electric vehicle maker rose 8%, a move that brought its weekly gain to 29%. Tesla's market value returned to the $1 trillion mark. Airbnb shares dropped 8.66% after the homestay company missed third quarter profit estimates, while social media company Pinterest tumbled 14% after a disappointing revenue forecast. China's latest move to shore up its economy fell flat with investors. US listed shares of Chinese companies like Alibaba fell after Beijing extended a lifeline to local governments but held off on big fiscal stimulus measures. Treasury yields edged lower after the benchmark 10-year yield settled Thursday at 4.307%. The Fed on Thursday signaled a little more uncertainty over how quickly it would continue cutting rates. Bitcoin edged higher to another record, above $76,700. The cryptocurrency notched a new all time end of day high on Thursday as the industry wages Trump will embrace crypto in office. Overseas stocks mostly fell. European stocks headed for the weekly losses as investors brace for protectionist trade policies from a new Trump administration. In commodities, West Texas Intermediate crude oil declined 1.24% to $71.34 a barrel. Brent crude, the international benchmark, was lower by 1.07% to $74.82 a barrel. Gold jumped 0.09% to $2,708 an ounce. Investors will now turn their attention to inflation data this week, with the October Consumer Price Index set to be released on Wednesday and the October Producer Price Index set to be released on Thursday. That's it for today, folks. I'll see you tomorrow morning. In the meantime, let us know in the comment section what are your thoughts for the market. Happy investing, stay inspired, and remember, it is all about money.